All right, another set of important questions. These ones come from Jason Calacanis, who is a fairly famous entrepreneur, investor, and blogger in Silicon Valley. And he's got a really nice show called This Week on Startups, where he interviews entrepreneurs. They're usually 1 hour interviews, and I cannot get tired of listening to them because he interviews anybody that is anybody. Anytime there's a hot startup, recently Periscope got acquired by Twitter, then he interviews them. The CEO of any company you can ever imagine, the CEO of Uber, big investors, he also interviews. Anyways, this guy is super connected, and he listens to thousands of startup pitches every year, and he came up with a little list of things that he thinks these questions are very important to answer properly. And the first one is the logo iconic? He's a very visual individual, but these are things that investors are looking at. So, and somebody with so much experience, I think it's interesting to see how they rate startups. How do they decide if this is something they're interested in investing? And this, in this case, Jason Calacanis, it's for him. The first thing he looks is the logo iconic. You have a shitty logo, then there's something wrong there. Could you tell me the domain name over the phone once and have me type it correctly? Very important. When you're coming up with a name, we're gonna go through the whole ideation process, coming up with a name, and all of that later on in this chapter. But this is very important. When you're coming up with a name, is this a name that domain name that you can say over the phone and somebody can type it correctly? Is it clear within 10 seconds what the purpose of this product or service is? Very important. You came up with a great idea, but can you actually express that idea on what they call the tweet length in 140 characters? If you cannot, then you have to make sure that you can. Otherwise, your product is too complex. You're addressing too big of a market. Anyway, something if you don't know how to express it, it's very hard that anybody is going to pay attention to you. Is the design world class? Again, Jason Calacanis is a very visual individual. He really cares about whether those first impressions, right? Create an online business. I mean, having a great looking website is never going to hurt. Let's put it this way. But when you're launching, do not put when you're validating your product, it's not so important, because if you really want to have a world-class design, it's gonna cost you money to hire a great designer to make it look fantastic. And the reality is that for not a lot of money, you can hire somebody cheap, or you can just get a template and just launch something to validate it. Once you start generating some revenue, you can spend more money in design. But always remember, it's very important. People do pay attention to how awesome looking your website is. Would I recommend this product? Okay, in this case, you would have to know what are Jason Calacanis' preferences. But if you're pitching to somebody like him, do some research and find out what they like. Now, running an online lifestyle business, are you going to pitch this to raise money? Well, if you're going to, it's something to have in mind. Do you think this person would be recommending this product to somebody else? Or if even, regardless of whether you're investing in somebody, do you feel that if you were to recommend this to what you think is your potential client, they'll be happy enough to recommend it to somebody else, right? Well, let's say that you're doing a blog and you're monetizing your blog through an ebook or something like that. Put yourself in the shoes of your potential reader, and do you think, have I provided enough value that if I were in his situation, I would be compelled to share this information with somebody else? Again, you're asking yourself questions to figure out if what you're doing is good enough, right? And people are not gonna open their wallets unless you're really providing some value. So these questions are crucial. And 6, will I remember this product next month and next year? The unforgettable test. Have you been able to craft an experience strong enough, create enough impact on that first impression that people are not going to forget you? Have you provided enough value that you've differentiated yourself from your competition so much that when they have to remember somebody that is doing blogging or selling ebooks or on your specific niche industry, you are the first name that pops up into their mind, right? and obviously at the beginning it's hard, but if every time you have a chance to delight a client, you take that as a great opportunity and you take advantage of that so they never forget about you, even if you're a small potatoes, what's going to happen is that that person is going to tell somebody. And really, the key to growth is referrals. That's the best way of growing, is people saying you should go to this individual because I had such a great experience. And the reason why they will do that is because they didn't forget about you. So can you be unforgettable? That's the question. Anyways, I thought that would be interesting to see what Calacanis has to say when he looks at startups. Something else to have in mind. Hey, did you enjoy this video? If you want to see more like this, just subscribe here. If you want a free gift, click here. Yeah. Which one is going to be the one?